Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to break down a piece of tech that is completely changing the game for how companies manage their content online. It's called a Headless CMS. Now, the name sounds a little weird, I know, but trust me, it's the secret sauce for making content work in our crazy multi-device world. All right, let's get into it.
So let me start with a question for you. Does it ever feel like your content is just stuck? Like you have this awesome new update, a great new blog post, but getting it out everywhere it needs to be feels like a total nightmare? Well, that's exactly the problem a headless CMS is built to fix.
I mean, just think about it. Today, your content doesn't just live on a website. It has to be on your mobile app, on your customer smartwatch, that digital sign you have in your store, maybe even a smart speaker. The number of places our content needs to show up has just exploded.
And here's the kicker. All of those are completely different platforms, right? But they all need the same core information, and they need it instantly. So the challenge becomes, how do you keep everything consistent and fast across all those different digital places?
Well, without the right approach, you get what's called the silo effect. You've got your website content in one system and then a totally separate database for your mobile app. So you're literally typing in the same product info, the same pricing, in multiple places. It's not just inefficient, it's a recipe for disaster when things get out of sync.
So why does this even happen? Well, it all comes down to the way the old, traditional content management systems were designed. You know, they were built for a much simpler time, and frankly, they create a ton of modern problems. We call these monolithic systems. Think of a classic WordPress or Drupal site. The best analogy is a turnkey house. Everything is bundled together. The content, the design, the code. It's all one big interconnected thing. And that's fine if all you have is one simple website. But the second you need something more, the problems start.
And this quote just nails the risk, doesn't it? Because everything is so tightly wound together, it creates this fragile house of cards. You've got developers who are terrified to update a simple plugin because they know it might bring the whole site crashing down. It's a really precarious way to operate.
So what's the solution? It's a pretty simple but brilliant idea. It's all about separating the head, which is the visual presentation, the website, the app, from the body, which is just the pure content itself. Let's break down how this actually works.
The headless approach does two really powerful things. First, you decouple the content. You take the body, the text, the images, the data, and you free it from any single design. Then you use a universal connector, something called an API, to let any head connect and pull the content it needs.
So what a headless CMS really is just a content repository. That's it. It's back-end only. It doesn't care what the final website or app looks like. Its one and only job is to store your content and then serve it up as raw, structured data to any device that asks for it.
Okay, that all sounds cool for the tech folks, right? But why should you, as a business leader or a marketer, actually care? Let's talk about the practical, real-world benefits you get from this.
It really boils down to this awesome principle. COPE. Create once, publish everywhere. Imagine this. All your content lives in one central place. You change a product's price one time, and boom, it's instantly updated on the website, in the mobile app, and on the in-store kiosk. No more copy-pasting, no more customers seeing different prices in different places.
And when you put the two approaches side by side like this, the difference is just stark. The old way is coupled and terrible for an omnichannel world. It really limits your developers. The new, headless way is decoupled, it's built for omnichannel, and it lets your developers use the best tools for the job. And this is a big one. Because the content is separated from the public-facing website, security is way, way better.
And the results really do speak for themselves. A massive 69% of companies that make the switch report that they're more productive and can get new products and campaigns to market way faster. That's not a small jump. That's a huge competitive advantage.
And this isn't some niche little trend either. The market for headless CMS is exploding. It's projected to grow over 21% every single year. That kind of growth tells you that this is quickly becoming the new standard for how modern businesses handle their digital presence.
But you know, maybe the biggest reason to go headless isn't even about solving the problems you have today. It's about being ready for the technology of tomorrow. It's about future-proofing your most valuable asset, your content. Because a headless CMS doesn't think in web pages, it thinks in data. It can power literally anything with a screen or a speaker. It can send your recipes to a smart fridge display. It can run Burger King's digital menus in thousands of stores. It could even power the information that shows up in a pair of augmented reality glasses or a VR showroom.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. If your company has any plans to innovate with next-generation tech like the Apple Vision Pro, a traditional page-based system isn't just a bad fit, it's a complete dead end. It just won't work. You need a system that can serve raw data, not just build websites.
So you see, what we're really talking about here is more than just a new tool. It's a completely different way of thinking about what content is and what it can do for your business.
The big shift is this. You move from a world where you're just building pages for a website to a world where you are providing content as a service. Your content becomes this flexible, dynamic resource that any application on any device can use anytime. It's your content completely unleashed.
Which really just leaves us with one final question for you to think about. When you look at your own company, is your content a flexible asset that's ready for whatever the future holds? Or is it a heavy anchor, tying you to the rigid systems of the past? The answer to that question could very well define how you compete and innovate for the next decade.